Hey, Eastern Oregon, welcome to this January the 18th, 2022 version of AM Live on EOA, your connection to Eastern Oregon. Hey, how you doing, man?
You're getting better at that. It's
Well,
only been a year.
nobody knows, but it's like, yeah, I rehearse it beforehand. It's like
I know.
yeah,
I've heard
yeah,
it.
you know, yeah. It's like I'm like going over it in my head, saying it out loud.
If I rehearsed anything, I would screw it up for sure.
Yeah.
Guess what today is?
Today
Second
is
Monday.
the 18th.
But yeah, but here, check this out. You know how we were talking about school-based health center? There's a big to do on the west side of the state in Lebanon. So it's over there kind of by Dallas, Salem. They're trying to implement a school-based health center, and the public is like kind of up in arms about it because they're saying that it's a slip, kind of go to the traffic cam. There's a cop. Go to the weather cam. Quick.
Right.
Quick. Where'd it go?
Oh, we must have missed him, huh?
Oh, he's rolling with the lights on and everything, right? He was coming up forth towards us. Anyway, so like I just saw the flashing lights down there on the bottom. Anyway, so in Lebanon, they're the community is kind of up in arms about it because they're saying it's a slippery slope because age of consent is 15 years old. So they don't want clinics in the schools there per se.
Yep, and that's a thing.
I didn't know that. I was just reading an article about it right now. I guess there was a school board meeting in Lebanon, and it's became a big to-do because I guess a bunch of parents showed up at the school board meeting, and a bunch of the school board members were on their phones while the public was talking and not paying attention to the meeting, just going through the motions. And
yeah,
interesting. I did not know the age of consent for medical treatment in Oregon was 15.
Yeah, well, and that's
how can that be?
Well, I mean, I think, and specifically what they're concerned about is that somebody can be a girl can be on the pill.
No, they're concerned about COVID vaccinations is what.
Oh, really? Oh, I see. Okay,
that's the biggest issue in the whole article. They don't say anything about birth control. It's all kid. It's like they don't know that it's all about COVID vaccinations.
So then a kid could get vaccinated and without his parents. Yeah,
at 15, but yeah, 15 is pretty young to make informed medical consent. You can't even technically give consent to have sex at 15, but you can give consent for them to stick something in your body.
Yeah, well, welcome to Oregon. That's
weird, man.
It is. I don't. Yeah, I mean, and there are so many inconsistencies in so many different directions, and that's
I don't even know if this is even true.
It's kind of like and we've talked about this before. It's kind of like kids that put their life on the line in the military but can't buy alcohol.
Can't even buy a pistol.
Yeah.
You can go in the military and shoot rockets at 18, but you can't buy a pistol.
Right. Yeah. So it's kind of a crazy.
Yeah. You can drink beer in Germany if you're in the military. I think there's an exemption if you're on active duty.
Yeah.
I think you're allowed to, like, if you're in, I don't remember, somebody was telling me about it, but if you're in a country where, it's legal, then is that snow?
Yes, it is. That's why I clicked to look at.
Oh my gosh, no! It was just starting to go away.
Yeah.
Oh.
Let's see what Gabe says.
It's supposed to warm up.
Isolated flurries.
Oh gosh, no.
Snowy mix. Yeah.
We got to get out of this.
This is today, and then tomorrow. It looks like there's not the snow as much anyhow.
See, when I I'm hoping the other weather guy's right today because I heard that it's supposed to warm up this afternoon and maybe rain.
So let's go back to today.
He says that it's supposed to be mixed showers. I don't know, 38.
Yeah.
I hope it's just rain, if anything. Let's
Well,
get that out of here. That's too much. I'm not
it doesn't
living for
look
that.
good. Look at that, man.
No, it's crap.
Yeah.
No basketball today. North Powder canceled both games.
Why?
And somebody wrote that in there. I said, I'll give you a 2-headed quarter. You flip it and heads it's COVID.
No,
Chances, you know what I mean? It's like, what do you mean? Why? Like, what else would they be canceling it?
Yeah.
People have been writing that though. Like, what? Why are they canceling the games? Well, because they're canceling a lot of stuff because of COVID right now.
Yeah. Well, and I think you and I talked a little bit about yesterday how that, I hope that we just figure out how to move through this without like canceling school. I mean, people get sick, they stay home or they isolate themselves. You and I, neither one of us have been feeling well, so we're isolated in front of our screen. So, but yep. So you just kind of move through it.
Just live it up.
Yeah. In fact, our one of our guys was exposed in the office. I mean, he wasn't exposed in the office. One of the guys who worked for us was exposed. And so it ended up that he was, what's the word? I say isolation, but what's the word they're trying to quarantine? Yeah. So he quarantined here in the office. He was the only one here, we just kind of manage and work through it. So
you got to figure it out.
Yeah.
Oh, Elgin has no classes today due to a recent positive COVID exposure at the high school. Elgin School District will have no classes on Tuesday, January 18th. My son at Dallas High School has no classes today. It's not looking good.
Maybe they'll just do like snow days, I mean, maybe they'll just kind of move through it and stay in
just
person.
Randomly, oh, you guys are off today. Somebody's got the Rona.
Yeah.
Dude, I wish they had this when I was a kid. Oh, I would have been so much more productive.
Yeah. So much more productive.
Yeah. You know how many days they've had off school in the last 2 years?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, and these snow days last week or whenever, when it was like kind of snowy.
Yeah. Legitimately.
They would have never canceled school for that when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I remember I told this story. I remember our door being like, you couldn't get out the front door. The snow had drifted so high. You had to go out the back, and we still went to school.
And it was uphill both ways.
No, it was.
No, I'm just kidding. Yeah.
Legitimately, there was like 3.5, 4 feet of snow, and it had drifted. The door closed, and we still went to school. There wasn't any, it's icy and slippery. Like, you live in Eastern Oregon. What do you expect it to be in the winter?
That's right. All right. Well, Amanda May is going to be with us here in a couple of minutes, and she's going to give us the keys to the market REMAX report. And so she'll be with us here right after this. Hey there, how are you?
Good. How are you guys?
Good.
We're sure glad you're here.
Well, I'm glad I'm here.
Yeah, you add youth and beauty, both.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. Is it like on the screen the way that I'm seeing it, where I've got like boy bread, and it's a girl sandwich with boy bread?
Yeah, that's right. It is.
The guest always goes in the middle.
Yeah, the guest always goes in the middle. Yeah.
There we go.
So, hey, how are you doing?
Pretty good. How are you guys? Well, I know how you guys are a little bit since you're all hiding out in your own spaces.
Yeah. We're sniffling, and you and I were talking earlier how it's like you can't it's difficult to tell the difference between a cold and a and what's going around, and so you just kind of act like it's spreadable. So
well, everybody's had something, right? My kids are on a 5-day quarantine from school just because we don't want to play that game, and they had an exposure, so we're hiding out too.
Everybody's had an exposure right now.
I know everybody walking through Walmart is having an exposure, but you got to do the things.
Yep, absolutely. Well, good. Well, hey, talk to us today about. We're going to talk about our subject. Talk to us, and I think it's kind of about FSBOs, right?
Well, a little bit, yeah.
A little bit about why someone should choose an agent rather than selling the home themselves.
Well, and it's easy for realtors to toot their own horn that way, I think, but there are some real legitimate reasons why it benefits a seller to work with a realtor. And that's mainly what I want to touch on. It's not just, hey, you should hire me and make sure my kids can eat. It's, hey, let's work together to make sure that you and I can both make this happen for you. I know that people, especially in this market where Zillow is so easy to use and we all have a phone in our hand that's connected and we can all see everything that is actively on the market right now. It's so easy for people to be like, oh, what are they doing? They're not doing anything. My house is selling itself. And I mean, in a market like this, it is absolutely a seller's market. And so the marketing of a home where it may have previously been, a little bit more of a challenge and a little bit more of a niche thing that realtors could help you with. Now the use of a realtor has come to, how do I navigate this so that I can put the most money back in my pocket? Because a seller's market comes with its own complications. I think the first thing that I want to chat about is pricing. I think that is the main thing that sellers are concerned with when they're trying to sell their house. How much money can I sell my house for? I want the most money that I could possibly get, which of course everybody does. If I listed my house today, I would want the absolute maximum amount of money in my pocket, and I would want every buyer to pay me that amount of money. But the reality is we have to match our market, and that is where it gets a little tricky. I have what's called a designation. You'll see realtors who've got little letters after their name, GRI, ABR. I have a designation that certifies me as a pricing strategy advisor, which means I've taken special education to teach me the ways to read our market. That combined with, years of experience, teach you how to find the value of a home. It is not an appraisal, but it is meant to price your home appropriately so that when you have an appraisal, you don't end up getting kicked in the shins with an appraiser who says, oh, your house isn't worth even close to that. So the way that I'm working with sellers to price their home is I'm doing what's called competitive market analysis or comparative market analysis. You'll hear it both ways. And I'm looking at your house and I'm taking homes that have similar features, age, size, square footage, bedrooms, bathrooms, location, and condition. Those are the big ones. And I'm factoring those against other houses that have sold within this same little market. And I'm adding and subtracting value based on what your home has and doesn't have to really negotiate that. So what a lot of people who go FSBO, for sale by owner, we call it FSBO, do is they'll have agents come over and do one of these because we do them for free. This is a service that most agents will offer just because. And they'll take those values and they'll run with them. The problem with that is that I see a lot of agents who've given values in a competitive atmosphere that they can't make happen in the real world. Kind of a little bit of a tricky hot button to touch on, but in the market, we call that buying a listing, and it's incredibly unethical, but it's not unheard of, and there's room for people to say it's very subjective. I could see value where another agent could not, and vice versa. So my theory on that is always, if that realtor's sign is not in the yard, they have no skin in the game to back up their value. So I'm talking to my sellers about that. I'm saying, hey, I want to sell this because it's my reputation on the line as well as dollars in your pocket. If my name's there and it's sitting for 3 months, I'm not doing a very good job pricing your house.
So just to follow up on that, somebody, a realtor could suggest a price that is really too high, but they have nothing to lose since it's not their listing.
Well, yeah, you don't see that quite as much anymore. Our market is inflated.
Right.
We're definitely dealing with that. So the main thing that I have people coming to me saying is, it's a seller's market. Why wouldn't I ask $10,000 more than that value?
Right.
And the reason is because pricing your home is more than just what you want to put in your pocket. It's how do we drive competition to your house? How do we get it so that we have competitive offers, which are the actual main thing that are driving prices up. My average sale price last year was at 102% of asking price. And the reason for that was not because I was pricing over market. It was because I was pricing at market and I was getting people to come in and compete for that value.
Good.
So marketing is the next thing, of course. Marketing anymore is fairly straightforward. We've got social media, which agents almost exclusively use. I actually read a funny statistic yesterday that said that only 1% of buyers were farmed from print marketing, like paper in hand marketing, which
Wow.
I always think is super interesting. I've got another designation that's called ePro. It means I have a special designation in how to be a little bit techie for my clients. And we hear about those statistics all the time, that it is not print marketing that's winning buyers or selling houses. But people are really kind of hung up on that print marketing sometimes. If an agent won't do print marketing, that's their bad. But my kind of rule of thumb is print marketing benefits your agent more than it benefits your house. So I will absolutely do it because it's my face out there too. And I like that. But the main exposure that I think houses are getting is from agents talking to other agents about buyers that they know exist in the marketplace. If I've got a house that has 10 offers on it, I'm only accepting one of those offers. There's 9 buyers left. And I know whose agents have those buyers. When I go and list a similar house, I'm going to be calling them. So it's definitely an advantage there. We also have a fun little trick that only realtors can do in this market, and it's specifically through the RMLS. And that is coming soon, no showing to listings. So you can do kind of a little, hey, this house is coming on the market and you need to be showing your buyers this right now. It's not ready to show quite yet. You can do that up to a month in advance. I've done that on a couple, and I've had really good results of getting just a load of showings within that first week. And days on the market is pretty low. Average days on the market for typical residential listings in this it's like less than 10 days on the market if you're doing it right.
Wow.
If it's more than that, you're probably pushing it a little bit on the value.
Ma'am, these yahoos out here don't know what a RMLF is.
Regional Multiple Listing Service.
Oh, okay.
So the multiple listing service is where agents connect their listings. It's the database that all realtor listings are sourced through. So Zillow, Realtor.com, Trulia, Redfin, all those, they feed from the MLS in your area. So an agent lists a house, they don't put it on Zillow, they put it on their MLS service, and that then feeds to everywhere else. So there are statistics about how much money a person will actually put back in their pocket using an agent versus not. That's kind of its own thing. It's a little bit of an ambiguous statistic. The consensus is 17% more money goes back into a seller's pocket when they're using a realtor as opposed to when they're selling their home by owner. And that's admittedly a little bit of a confusing statistic because unless you have the same house at the same timeline being sold to the same buyer, it's kind of hard to really weigh that out. So even if you play devil's advocate and say, let's cut that in half, let's say it's 8% is what the average seller is making above what the FSBO seller is making. $100,000 house is selling for $108,000 with a realtor. Well, if the average realtor is selling at 5-6%, then they're more than paying for themselves, as well as handling complicated things like negotiations.
Right. And that's the thing I've found is there are so many, there's a part of the negotiation part. There's so much paperwork. I mean, when you're doing a FSBO, when you're doing a for sale by owner, you don't have anyone to represent your interests.
Yeah, that's true.
You're kind of on your own. And so, I mean, that's your job as a seller's agent, is to kind of lead them through that process.
It is. And what I think a lot of people who do list their house for sale by owner don't realize is that most buyers in this market, 92% of buyers in this market, are represented by a buyer's agent. Lenders send them directly to an agent, typically, if they haven't already connected with one. And so they're likely going to be dealing with a buyer who wants to involve their own buyer's realtor, which typically means that for sale by owner property will end up paying a realtor commission, about half, probably 2.5-3% of what they usually would pay in full. So you're only saving about half of a commission, but you're sacrificing an entire representation of yourself. And that buyer's going to have representation who knows the market and knows the tools and knows the tricks and knows how to negotiate to get their buyer better deals.
Yeah,
so
it's a little bit like, it's a little bit like representing yourself if you were in court. And
absolutely.
Yeah, and you're up against a district attorney who, really knows what they're doing, if that's the position that you're in. So,
well, not a lot of people are out there committing crimes going to be facing a prosecutor. But a lot of people are out there selling a house that is their biggest asset. This is your biggest transaction you will probably ever have, or one of them. And it is a way to, continue to grow your wealth. And so, I mean, you're not going to, if you have complicated taxes, you're not going to be, relying completely on yourself. So an agent's job primarily is to, yes, transact and sell your house and to get that sold sign. But in this fun little community that we have, there are different priorities, mine in particular. My very first priority when I'm working with a client, in particular a seller, is client satisfaction and making sure that when they're out chatting about me, when they're out talking about, what happened in their transaction, that they can say, yeah, she did a good job. She earned it. So that's really important. And that's important to not just me, but everybody in my office. Our clients are a lot more than just a means to a commission check. We live here and we're going to be living here, and so are our clients. So we want to make sure we leave that positive aftertaste.
So what, if I'm wanting to sell my house, what should I look for in an agent?
Experience, definitely. You want somebody who's got a good reputation. Ask around. I mean, if people have worked with a realtor who they've really liked, chat with that realtor, chat with them about why. I work on a referral business. A lot of my clients are people who I know personally, who are repeat clients or who are referrals from my clients. And I have clients who I've served well, who have sent me, handfuls of clients, bless their sweet little hearts. Because you want to give somebody an experience that says, hey, yeah, this was a benefit to me. I want to share that benefit with you. So that reputation is so important, but a commitment to excellence is next. You shouldn't be working with an agent who you can look back on their previous listings and see they're putting up junky photos, or, you want to say, hey, what are your average days on the market? How long is it taking you to sell houses? Those kinds of things.
I was just, while you were talking, I was scrolling Facebook and your husband shared the video and it says, here's your morning eye candy.
Oh, what a turd. I have him locked in the bedroom.
I was just looking to see it, like for the next segment. It just came across.
We'll keep him around.
Yeah.
For a little while, huh?
So we all know that when we're getting ready to sell a house, you've got to clean it up and paint. And I mean, there's all of those stuff that an owner has to do to get ready to sell. What are some of the biggest don'ts that someone, what's a list of things that they should not for sure do if they're going to sell their house?
So if you have a realtor, and this is another thing with having an agent involved, there needs to be a degree of separation between a seller and their buyers. There is an emotional connection with a seller and their home. People are very connected to their homes. Particularly now, I saw another fun little statistic that said that 70% of people after the pandemic admit to more of an emotional connection with their houses these days, which I totally get, because this has been our hideout. This has been our sanctuary, way more than it ever was before. So that emotional connection and the separation there is big. So let your agent be the go-between. The other, well, actually probably even bigger than that, is do not be a blabbermouth. You should not be out on social media talking about how motivated you are to sell, what's wrong with your house, what you hate about it, what you love about it, what your neighbor's doing. You shouldn't be talking about the amount of offers you've received. You shouldn't be talking about how much those were. Nothing like that. When you're getting ready to sell your house, loose lips sink ships. So do not be chatty. And agents, that is the exact same. When I'm representing somebody, if it doesn't benefit my client to say, and I don't have an ethical obligation to share, then you just don't, because it is not a benefit to anybody.
Yeah.
That's the biggest one. The other one is don't hesitate to scale back on all your stuff. When my husband and I sold our house a few years ago, we got a storage shed and I cleaned out like half of my stuff. Anything that you don't need right this second, that should go in the storage unit if you want top dollar. And if you live streamlined, that may not be the case for you, but when you're a hoarder.
Who lives streamlined?
Who does that? Who even does that?
I don't know who lives streamlined. Yeah, it's funny because we were, as Tanya and I are watching, these shows where we like watching these tiny home shows. We would never live in a tiny home, but as you watch, it's like, where's all their stuff? Or these remodeling things. I mean, they show these homes without any stuff. I mean, there's no way you could live that way, but
no, and you're not supposed to. So the goal, of course, in doing that is to get it sold as quick as possible so you can get back to living as quickly as normal as you can, as quickly as possible. Yeah. And that's my goal. Transactions can get really complicated. A lot of issues can arise. I've had some really crazy ones come up this year. I've had some really funky lot line discrepancies. Had to negotiate some easements where access was needed to get to certain places. Things that have really complex solutions that Joe on the street probably isn't anticipating about his property. Or maybe he bought his house with a realtor and didn't realize that this is something that happened behind the scenes previously. And now we need an agent to handle it. So there are some pretty common ways that we can help you out that way, but you're not wrong. The paperwork can be very complicated, and it is legal and it is binding. And there are legal ramifications if that's done incorrectly. And as a seller, the benefit to having some protection there from a seller's agent is invaluable.
Awesome. All right. Well, any last words that you want to leave us with?
Oh gosh, I don't know. Our team's pretty great. Check out REMAX Real Estate Team. We've got an amazing group of folks down there. Yeah. And just come pop in and visit.
You guys are right downtown across the street from the closed Umpqua branch, right?
Mm-hmm. Right in between Finance of America Mortgage and Bella. So Good. Get your lending, get your chocolate, come see me.
Good. All righty. Well, Amanda, thanks so much for being here with us this morning, and thanks REMAX for being a part of our show. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Guys.
Bye.
All right. I don't.
Boom.
Do you follow? If you follow Dino, and he's one of my Facebook friends, and he's a crazy dude. I mean, he just is.
Well, I would have to have followed him.
Yeah.
You see? To know that he shared the. I mean, how else would I have known?
Your morning eye candy. That's hilarious. Yeah. We have some footage. I mean, his whole family skis. I don't know if Amanda skis, but certainly the kids and Dino do, or snowboard. And when we were doing the Union County shows, doing those videos a few years ago, he gave us some great footage of him doing a backflip, holding a GoPro and stuff, and just some really nice stuff. Yeah. Yep. All right, man.
Ready to get him out of here?
Yeah, I think so.
Get out of here. All right. On this day, which is January 18th, 1896, the X-ray machine was exhibited for the first time. 1896, 126 years ago.
Wow.
On this day in 1911, for the first time, an aircraft landed on a ship. Pilot Eugene Ely flew onto the deck of the USS Pennsylvania in the San Francisco harbor. 1911, so 111 years ago.
Wow. So yeah,
on this day.
So that's only a few years after the airplane was even, because I think the Wright brothers flew like in 1907.
I don't. It's somewhere right around there. I don't remember the exact day.
So not very long. It's like you get them. They're barely flying. It's like, let's try and land that on a ship.
May as well. Yeah. On this day in 1975, the Jeffersons debuted on CBS. And then on this day in 93, Martin Luther King Jr. Day was observed in all 50 states for the first time. 1993. And then 1995, this is the last one. The yahoo.com domain was created. 1995.
Wow.
On this day. I had to go all the way back to 1952 for the song, believe it or not. I mean, because all the rest of them I've used. And it's Cry by Johnny Ray and the Four Lads. 1952, number one song on this day. I don't even know. I couldn't even tell you who that is, but there it is. And then, let's see, what do we got? Quote of the day? Oh, what do you call a penguin in the White House, BC?
What?
Lost.
A penguin in the White House.
Yeah. Well done is better than well said, Benjamin Franklin. Well done is better than well said, Benjamin Franklin.
Good stuff.
That's it for a Tuesday.
All right. Thank you, Eastern Oregon.
Appreciate you. See you Thursday.
Matt Scarfo will be with us on Thursday. Looking forward to that. And then also President of EOU, Tom Ensko, will be with us next Thursday. Looking forward to that interview.
Going to be awesome.
Yep. Thanks so much. We'll talk to you soon.